Hello BuzzFamily and welcome to BuzzBarca. I am finally back and today I'm going to be doing a Barcelona mid-season review for the team. Along with that, we will also be going over key players for Barcelona, which players are in, which players are out. We will be going over performances and we will also be looking at the next match against Atletico Madrid. All that and much more. BuzzBarca. Starting off, let's look at Barcelona's form in the season. Currently, they sit at number 1 in La Liga with 38 points, with Atletico also behind them and Real Madrid. The only problem is that Atletico has the same amount of points as them with one less game played, and Madrid only have one less point with one less game played as well. So technically we are in first, but we're more like third place. Starting the season, we were in great form. Hansi Flick looked like he was implementing his tactics really well with the high offside trap, along with Rafinha finding his main position on the left wing cutting inside. Dani Olmo also looked phenomenal when he was able to play, as he's been injured throughout most of the season, but when he does play and he performs, he is really good. However, in the last 6 games, Barcelona only have 1 win, which is very concerning. We've also lost to 2 teams such as Leganes and Las Palmas, which are relegation teams which we should not have lost to. Hansi Flick has to find a way to get results in La Liga, as it's looking tough in the recent stretch. When it comes to the Champions League, the story is a little bit different. Out of the massive 36 team pool, Barcelona are currently second with 5 wins and 1 loss, only to Liverpool who have 6 wins. The loss that Barcelona suffered in the Champions League was also against Monaco, which we all know that Eric Garcia got a red card very early into the game. So if you look at that as just our one mistake in Champions League, we are doing very well. We currently have 2 more games left in the Champions League group stage, and it's safe to say that we will be finishing in the top 8. Moving on, let's talk about the players at FC Barcelona, starting with the goalkeepers. As we know, Marc-Andre ter Stegen has been injured for pretty much the whole year, even though his recovery is going well. And Iñaki Peña is a starting goalkeeper at FC Barcelona, and he's been doing a pretty good job. He has been making crucial saves, even though a lot of them have been offside saves. And he's been doing pretty well as a sweeper keeper. Szczęsny has also joined the team and he's been backing them up, but he hasn't got his first start. In my opinion, he should have been given an opportunity, especially in the Copa del Rey matches that are going to be coming up. But as of now, I'm confident with Iñaki Peña starting for FC Barcelona. Moving on to the left back spot, Alejandro Balde has been the main left back for Barcelona, who has been performing really well. However, sometimes we do see rotations, and that's when Gerard Martin comes into the team. And in my opinion, he is not Barcelona quality. He looks very rough going up the field, and he's defensively a little clumsy at times. He's also very left-footed, which makes it very hard for him to even get past defenders because they just push him towards the center of the field. Hopefully, Barca can look for an upgrade in that position as the January transfer window is coming up. Moving on to the right side, we have Jules Koundé, who has been one of the best right backs in all of Europe, and I'd say he is top 3 for sure. He has been a great part of Barcelona's team this season, and he's been doing wonderful at the right back role, playing a majority of the games. Hector Fort has come in and backed him up a few times this season, and he hasn't looked too bad, but it just looks like we don't have the correct fullback substitutes for Barcelona as of now. When we look at the center back spot, we see consistency in Inigo Martinez and Cubarsí holding it down. They've been 2 of our main center backs all season long, not mainly because of their abilities, even though they have been very good. It has to do with our injury crisis at Barcelona. Andres Christensen has been out for a long period of time and is only making his recovery to join the team once again. Randall Araujo has cleared his injury and he is actually back with the squad, as we are still waiting for his first start or even first appearance with Barcelona this season. Eric Garcia got some playing time playing at center back, but it hasn't looked all too great. And Sergi Dominguez, one of our prospects, also started a game back there and it did not look good. Hopefully with players like Araujo and Christensen coming back into the starting lineup, we can get some more rotation in that center back spot, because they have been phenomenal this season, playing a very aggressive high line for Hansi Flick's offside trap. Moving on to the midfield, let's talk about Barcelona's double pivot involving Pedri and Marc Casado. They have been phenomenal all season long, being our best 2 pivots in the team. Marc Bernal was also as one of the deeper lying midfielders, as he got injured with an ACL tear. Marc Casado stepped in and he took over the role, and he's never looked back, as Hansi Flick uses him almost every game. Pedri looks like he has found his form under Hansi Flick, and he is one of the best 8s in all of Europe. Gavi has also returned from injury, and he's been playing a pretty good role trying to get back into the team and providing some rotation for these players. Moving on to the cam position, you can see Dani Olmo is by far one of our most creative and important players in the team. However, his injury history does not sit well with Barcelona, as he does tend to get out of games early, and also he's been injured for games 1 or 2 after playing. Fermin Lopez has been backing him up, but he also doesn't get much playtime in that cam role, as Rafinha comes in and plays in that cam position. And Pablo Torre also seen some of his minutes in that cam position, which he has done really well, but he is just very far low in the pecking order. And when we look at Frankie de Jong, who is also back from injury, he does not look good at all to me. He was supposed to be one of the 2 double pivots in Hansi Flick's system, as that's what he was doing at Ajax when he came to Barcelona. but he just does not look good, whether that's an injury problem that he is still facing or he is just not the same player he once was. In my opinion, a player like him does not seem to be fit in this team, and Barcelona should cash out on him if they can. And finally, let's talk about the forwards at Barcelona, as our main three attackers are Lewandowski, Rafinha, and Lamine Yamal. When it comes to the right wing, Lamine Yamal has that position on lock, as he's been one of the best players in that position in all of Europe as well. Rafinha has done a complete 180 as Hansi Flick has found his perfect position on that left wing side where he cuts in and stays as almost a cam. This allows him to get creative in the final third and also make runs in behind. Robert Lewandowski is doing phenomenal this season under Hansi Flick, as it was expected by many people. He has scored tons of goals and tons of big goals for Barcelona this season. However, as the season has progressed, he has been dropping more and more into the midfield and he's not staying out in the field. I do not personally like when Lewandowski drops very deep into the midfield, as it just shows that the Barcelona team is struggling to bring the ball up and we need our striker to be in his position. When looking at Barcelona's bench, there's a few players we can talk about, starting with Ferran Torres, who has been clearly our best forward off the bench. He looks good when he comes on as a substitute, as the game is more open for him and he scores some goals. Pau Victor also looks very good, even though he doesn't get much playtime in that striker position due to Lewandowski, but he looks very sharp and ready to go as well. Ansu Fati played a few games here and there, but he's also injured and it looks like his future with the club is really not that promising. Barcelona need a quality left winger or even a right winger on this team, because Rafinha has been playing a ton of games for this team, and someone as young as Lamine Yamal, he needs his rest here and there, and we can't afford for him to get injured more and more. And at the time of this recording, he is out for 4 weeks with an ankle injury. I think Barcelona should target a left winger or right winger for this team, someone who is a natural winger. There's also some players from La Masia that have been linked to being called up for Barcelona's next game against Atletico Madrid. But in reality, we need to rotate the squad, because this starting 11 can't play week in, week out. And bringing a quality winger into this team is very much needed, because other than Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, we really don't have anyone else, because Ferran Torres plays up the middle a lot of the times and Pau Victor is a striker. So that's going to do it for FC Barcelona's mid-season review. Going into the next year, I hope Barcelona targets certain players during the transfer market. We can hopefully get back to form in La Liga, as Hansi Flick will have his players rested, and hopefully we can go from there. And when it comes to the Champions League, which seems to be our main priority, let's win the next 2 games, let's beat Atletico Madrid, and let's do this. Buzz Barca!